Welcome to the Flow Tracy Monday Audio Commentary. This is Owen Tracy recording. It is 4:43 p.m. that is Central Time, and today is August 14th. Well, today was dominated really by the PPI figures because they were above expectations on every single one of the measures. But initial jobless claims were pretty much in line, in fact, down very modestly versus what was expected. And then the 4-week moving average is just a tad higher, and continuing claims are a little bit lower than expected. So even though we have more evidence of companies passing on their costs to consumers, then the jobless environment is not really moving out of kilter with what expectations were. So I thought it was very interesting that one of the first headlines I saw this morning was that the stock market hits a wall following the PPI numbers. And if I were to look at a chart after reading that, I would expect a big downward dynamic. That was not at all what we saw. In fact, the reaction on Wall Street was pretty muted. And in fact, what we've really seen here was that the asset that was most affected by this was Bitcoin. And the price at one point was down about $4,000. So coming straight down through the 120,000 level. And I think that was rather interesting. What it very clearly helps to emphasize is that Bitcoin is a liquidity barometer. It reacts more than anything else in a high beta manner to just about everything that is related to the provision of liquidity. So the fact that PPI numbers were higher, it obviously brought back into focus the uncertainty around whether the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates in September. Now, I would consider it to be about a 50-50 at this stage, that inflation has come down in the nominal figures to about at least close to an acceptable level. Then the broad question, of course, is what will the impact of tariffs be? Now, with the PPI figures, what we have plenty of evidence of is that companies are passing on those higher costs. Now, quite whether it is justified or not, or how sticky that's going to be, remains to be seen. But it certainly services companies that are raising prices. And we should just pay attention to what is inside that services measure, because they include health insurance as a big part of that. So in just the same way that inside the CPI figure there's an imputed cost of the housing, then inside the services part there's a